Ford just killed the Shelby GT500. After 60 years of Carroll Shelby's name on the most badass Mustangs ever built, it's gone. Today at the Detroit Auto Show, Ford revealed the successor to the legendary GT500, and they called it the Mustang Dark Horse SC. No Shelby badge, no snake, no GT500, and honestly, this sucks. Let me explain why this is such a gut punch for Mustang fans. Carroll Shelby is an icon, Le Mans winner, racing legend, American hero. When you said you drove a Shelby GT500, that meant something. It wasn't just a trim level, it was a piece of automotive history. But now, Dark Horse SC. It sounds like a trim package you'd configure online, not a legend. And let's talk about the name for a second. Which sounds cooler? I drive a Shelby GT500 or I drive a Dark Horse SC. Come on, SC stands for supercharged. That's it. Not exactly legendary. You're going to be paying somewhere around $100,000 for a car that doesn't say Shelby anywhere on it. Think about that. Here's another kick in the teeth. The last Shelby GT500 in 2022 started at just over $80,000. This Dark Horse SC is probably going to be $85,000 or more, and that's before you add the track pack, which will push it over six figures. So you're paying more money, dealing with inflation, and getting less brand cachet. When you pull up to Cars and Coffee, nobody even knows what Dark Horse SC means yet. Shelby? Everyone knows Shelby. And here's what really bothers me. Ford won't even tell us the horsepower numbers. Why? The old GT500 made 760 horsepower. The GTD makes 815. So where does this sit? If it was impressive, they'd be shouting it from the rooftops. But they're keeping it secret. That tells me something, and it's not good. So yeah, if you're a Shelby purist, this feels like a betrayal. I get it. But here's the thing. The more I dug into this, the more I realized Ford might actually be onto something. Let's talk about why this starts to make sense. First, the Shelby situation was getting complicated. Shelby American is a separate company. There are licensing deals, royalties, approvals. Ford Performance clearly wants control of their own destiny. And you know what? Look at BMW M. Look at Mercedes-AMG. They don't need outside names. They built their own performance brands. Why can't Ford? Here's another thing. Dark Horse isn't some random name Ford pulled out of thin air. They launched Dark Horse in 2024, and it's been a massive hit. 500 horsepower, 7,500 RPM redline, $67,000, and people love it. So what Ford is actually doing here is elevating the Dark Horse brand. They're not replacing Shelby, they're building something new. And this solves a real problem Ford created with the GTD. The Mustang GTD costs $350,000. It's ultra-limited production. You had to apply to even get a chance to buy one. Most enthusiasts got priced out immediately. It was frustrating. But the Dark Horse SC? It brings GTD technology down to around $100,000. That's still expensive, I'm not going to lie, but it's obtainable. You can actually order this car. Now let's talk about the tech, because this is where it gets interesting. This is not just a GT500 with a different badge slapped on it. Under that vented hood is the supercharged 5.2-liter Predator V8, the same engine that's in the GTD. It's got next-generation Magnerite dampers that adjust 1,000 times per second. The track pack gets you carbon ceramic brakes straight from the GTD. You get variable traction control with 5 different settings, and that technology came directly from the GT3 race car program. With the track pack, this thing makes 620 pounds of downforce at 180 miles per hour. Ford Racing developed this alongside the GT3 and GTD programs. This isn't marketing, this is legitimate engineering. Okay, so it's not just a badge swap. Ford actually did the work. But here's where it gets really good, and why I think this might actually be excellent. First, let's talk accessibility. The GT500 had dealer markups. It had limited production, it had wait lists. You couldn't just buy one. But the Dark Horse SC, this is regular production. Orders open at the end of March. Deliveries start this summer. You can actually get one without fighting collectors and flippers for scraps. That matters. Second, this is the daily drivable GTD. The GTD is a $350,000 track weapon. It's incredible, but it's compromised for street driving. The Dark Horse SC has the same engine, the same 7-speed dual-clutch transmission, but it rides on suspension geometry that's actually designed for the street. You can drive this thing to work without hating your life. It's the 80-20 rule. 80% of the GTD's performance with only 20% of the compromise. Let's talk about the track pack because this is where it gets serious. Carbon fiber wheels plus carbon ceramic brakes equals 150 pounds of weight savings. But here's the key, that's unsprung weight. That matters way more than saving 150 pounds in the interior. This changes how the car responds to bumps, how it turns in, how it stops, and that 620 pounds of downforce I mentioned. This isn't a straight line drag car. This is a track car, the variable traction control with 5 settings. That's GT3 derived technology. Ford is serious about this. Now here's a hot take. The Shelby name was actually holding Ford back. People expected stripes. They expected snake badges. They expected certain colors and retro styling. Dark Horse SC can be whatever Ford Performance wants it to be. This is their vision, not a 1960s vision. And I think that's actually freeing for them. Let's compare this to the competition because this is where it really makes sense. Corvette Z06, 670 horsepower, starts around $110,000, but good luck getting one. They're sold out for years and dealers are adding markups. Porsche 911 GT3, over $220,000, 502 horsepower, incredible car but way more expensive. The Dark Horse SC slots perfectly in between. More power than the Z06, way less money than the GT3, and you can actually order it. And here's the thing that really sold me. This car is for drivers, not collectors. The GT500 became a collector car. People garage them, they're investments. The GTD costs $350,000. Nobody's daily driving that thing, but the Dark Horse SC at around $100,000, people will actually drive these. They'll track them, they'll modify them, and that's the whole point of a Mustang. It's meant to be driven. Look, I get it. Seeing Shelby GT500 die hurts. That name has 60 years of history. It means something. But here's what Ford actually did. They took the GTD's supercharged V8, its carbon ceramic brakes, its racing technology, and they made it into something you can actually order and drive every day. For 60 years, Shelby meant the ultimate Mustang. But in 2026, the ultimate Mustang is a $350,000 GTD that 99% of people will never see in person, let alone drive. The Dark Horse SC isn't trying to be the ultimate. It's trying to be the best Mustang that real enthusiasts can actually own and drive. And for that, the name doesn't matter. The experience does. Is it the end of Shelby? Yeah. But it might be the beginning of something better. So drop a comment below. Am I crazy, or does this actually make sense? Let me know what you think. And if you enjoyed this video, hit that subscribe button because I'll be covering everything from the Detroit Auto Show and the Toronto Auto Show coming up in February. Thanks for watching.